This is WNEP TV 16, the news station. Now, Nolan, Johannes, Karen Harch, Jack Ruland in SciCam 16, meteorologist Tom Clark with his backyard forecast, and Tim Carlson Sports. This is Newswatch 16.
Good evening. 250 factory workers in our area are out of work tonight.
They finished their final shift today at the American Cigar plant in Luzerne County. The last cigar has been wrapped and labeled.
And now the Mountaintop factory is closed. Newswatch 16's Mark Davis is live there now. How are the workers taking it, Mark?
Well, Nolan, the only word to describe the reaction here can be shock, because the people who used to work here just learned of this factory closing last Friday afternoon. Now, put yourself in their position. You're walking out of work on a Friday afternoon, you're handed a letter, and that letter says the plant is closing, and Thursday, today, will be your last. So this afternoon, as the shift ended, the workers said goodbye to their jobs and goodbye to their friends. Not much was being said as the American cigar workers quietly filed out of their plant. The cigar business has been sold, and the new owners have closed this plant. Now all of these people here are left without jobs and with very uncertain futures.
It's very upsetting to see people who you worked with for all these years just walk out the door and you're never going to see them again, because you didn't only have a job here, you had a lot of friends.
For John Sewell of Ashley and some of his fellow workers, their time is now spent taking apart the machines in the business that they had worked very hard to build up.
And especially now we had special machines that we're making for putting wrapper on the bobbins and stuff like that. It's all shot in the ass for nothing. That's it. It's done. All this extra work. But like I said, nobody knew nothing about it, I guess.
Now, a small handful of workers are staying on to clean up and clean out this building, and the building will be put up for sale. American Cigar has been a part of the Crestwood Industrial Park and part of hundreds of lives here in the Mountaintop area since 1967. I'm Mark Davis, Newswatch 16, live with the Instacam in Mountaintop.
Thank you, Mark. A downtown Wilkes-Barre business hit by fire 4 months ago reopened its doors today. The Kitty and Teen Shops, victim of an arson fire in April, are now completely renovated, and customers told us it felt just like a homecoming.
Hard to wait for it. I was just so anxious. I read it in the paper this morning. Quickly got dressed and couldn't wait for 10 o'clock to come here, because I absolutely patronized the store.
We haven't been in town in a while because the kitty shop wasn't here, so we're glad it's brought us back into town again.
There have been no arrests in the arson fire 4 months ago. The 59-year-old Wilkes-Barre business now has $300,000 worth of remodeling because of that fire.
Some people in Scranton woke up to flooded streets once again this morning. Those heavy downpours overnight, coupled with clogged storm drains, made Hickory Street look like a stream at rush hour this morning. Traffic in the area off South Washington Avenue was tied up for a while, and for 4 hours early this morning, Scranton police closed off part of Pittston Ave near Kane Street because of high water. Some neighbors had to bail out flooded basements and step carefully through saturated backyards.
All the recent rain has been good for some area farm crops, but not for one important staple, hay. Newswatch 16's Mark Hannick took a trip to a Wyoming County farm to find out how the hay crop is being affected here.
Cutting hay is kind of like gambling. At least that's the way Harold Manning sees it. You have to guess when you think it will be hot enough and dry enough to dry the hay out, and then cut it. Manning cut this field down yesterday.
I thought it was going to be nice out, but I got fooled. And so, I mean, it's rained, it poured here yesterday afternoon.
That means Harold lost the bet, and it isn't his first loss this year. Manning says as far as haying goes, this has been the worst July he can remember. In fact, rainfall amounts for June and July are twice what they normally are. That keeps the hay from drying out, and it keeps Manning from baling it up.
With a couple of nice days, this hay should dry out, and Harold Manning will be able to bale it up. But if it rains some more, the hay will stay in the field longer. Now, the longer it stays here, the more nutritional value it loses. That means when you turn around and feed it to the cows, they aren't going to produce as much milk.
And though that's a problem, Manning says he'd rather have too much rain than too little.
I'll take this any time over what they got in the south, though, because, well, that would be a terrible, terrible situation, really.
With that in mind, Manning says he'll continue to work the field and hope some hot, dry weather moves north so he can get his hay off the field and into the barn. Mark Hannick, Newswatch 16, Wyoming County.
Life should be a lot easier now for kidney patients in the Poconos. As Newswatch 16's Kathy Bellis tells us in tonight's Health Watch report, Monroe County has its first kidney dialysis treatment center. Oscar Gallagher of Stroudsburg has had to travel to Easton 3 times a week for 4 years to get his dialysis treatment. Now, he rides just a few miles to the BMA clinic in East Stroudsburg. This machine uses chemicals to flush out the impurities in his system, something his kidneys cannot do for him. The treatment takes 4 hours, and that, combined with the long rides, was taking its toll on him.
Miserable ride stuff. You get tired riding. Then sitting all day down there, 4 hours, then come back.
Robert Rao of Stroudsburg also had no choice until today. He made that same trip to Easton 3 times a week. He had to drive, and sometimes it wasn't so easy after the dialysis treatment.
You have to be careful, especially if you drive yourself, because you can black out very easily. You doze off and put going off the edge of the road, or you can catch yourself and you run back on. It's very hard when you drive yourself.
The clinic has 7 of these dialysis machines, and the nurses here expect to have enough patients soon to be using all of these machines at once. Right now, 22 patients in Monroe County will be able to get treatment here. As word travels, they expect quite a few more. Kathy Bellis, Newswatch 16, East Stroudsburg.
When Newswatch 16 continues, we'll tell you about a plan to turn garbage into energy. And we'll have more on the recall of some car safety seats.
Plus, later on, we'll ride a wagon train to tell you why some people are taking to wooden wheels to move up the East Coast.
Delivery.
That's my son's Lemmy doll from George. Wow.
Super secret.
Awesome. Looks just like you.
I resemble that remark. Get your child's doll by mail for $4.25 when you buy Joy. Look for details in stores, July 27th paper, or write to this address. Great office.
And that's a great shine.
Because we've got muscle.
Yeah, muscle.
Take it from a lemon who knows. This is one terrific doll. Ask anybody.
You may not receive hits like this, but your knee is a special joint with special problems. When your knee hurts, call the healthcare professionals at the Knee Center. Whether you hurt your knee yesterday or if it's a long-time nagging injury, the professionals at the Knee Center can help. Call the Knee Center and you'll receive a prompt appointment and professional service. Remember, when your knee hurts, call the Knee Center first. The Knee Center, located in the Pine Mall, right below the Wyoming Valley Mall on Route 115.
There's an idea that's lighting up the minds of Lycoming County planners these days. Newswatch 16's Dan Fiorucci reports proposals to turn waste gas in a landfill into electricity could help soon to light up a city.
Methane gas is the gas that lights your stove. It's also a natural product of decaying garbage. That's why some people want to tap the methane gas at the Lycoming County landfill.
There is energy in that garbage, and we designed the landfill from the very outset to allow us to capture that gas.
You can see the methane bubbling up out of the ground there right now. According to some estimates, there's enough of the gas in this landfill to generate 1 million watts of electricity continuously for decades.
And while that power is only a fraction of a percent of the generating capacity of a single reactor at Salem Township, it's more than enough power to provide 300 homes with all their electrical needs.
It would supply a small community with its normal electric power needs.
A desk full of proposals for methane recovery has already landed at the Lycoming County Planning Commission. And it's possible energy could be recovered from garbage here sometime next year. Dan Fiorucci, Newswatch 16, Lycoming County.
Many of you have called us with questions about those child car safety seats that are being recalled because they could crack or break in an accident. So here once again is the information you need to know. First, more than 167,000 seats under the name Century models are being recalled. Those affected have model numbers 100, 200, 300, or 400XL. You can call toll-free 1-800-222-9825 for a free modification kit to strengthen the car seats. And nearly 40,000 child safety seats under the name Colcraft Rock and Ride are being recalled. Model number is 13123. You can call 1-800-453-7673 to receive a replacement for any seat made before July of 1985. Officials say there have been no reports of any injuries with either seat.
A viewer from Wayne County felt a Pennsylvania company had forgotten about the electric blanket he ordered, so he handed things over to Action 16's Jerry Gartenberg.
You must have the magic touch. I mean, as I say, I'd still be waiting, I think, if it wasn't for your intervention.
Ed Ralph's 3-month wait for an electric blanket ended after Action 16 turned the heat on. The Wayne County man says he felt turned off because the Craftmatic Company of Pennsylvania promised to send him the blanket, then didn't deliver. Ed bought the blanket along with this adjustable bed to help with back pain, never figuring he'd have to put up with the pain of waiting.
If they had sent it when they said they did, I should have had it a long time before. I mean, and how much can the thing be worth? You know, what was their point in holding back on it?
Craftmatic is asking that question, too. It seems someone at the company's warehouse promised a couple of times to send out the blanket, but didn't, then sent it to the wrong address. 2 weeks after my letter, Craftmatic wrapped up the problem along with the blanket. Ed finally got what he ordered.
And it's determined if I have something coming to me, I'm going to get it, one way or the other.
Remember, as a consumer, be firm and insist on getting exactly what you pay for. But if you feel you're being bounced around, write to me, Jerry Gartenberg, Action 16.
And you can write to Jerry in care of Action 16, Box 16, Avoca, Pennsylvania. Our zip is 18641.
The Weather Watch is next with our chief meteorologist, Tom Clark.
1, 2, 3. Will this be the fourth weekend?
You always have to remind me about the rain. Well, we made some changes in the weekend forecast, and I'll have that for you when we come back. You're watching Newswatch 16 on WNEP TV, and we're proud to serve Montgomery and all of Lycoming County.
Wyoming home. We've got quality for less. We're the manufactured home leader in the state of Pennsylvania. Wyoming home. We got double wide modulars, new and used. We'll even do your setup and your furniture too. You get it all at Wyoming home.
The Lycoming County Borough of Montgomery is once again without a police department, so for now, state police are taking emergency calls there. The on-again, off-again local police force has been a problem for some time. Until yesterday, Montgomery had a one-man police department, but Officer Philip McGonigal, seen here back in April, quit, saying he disagrees with patrol rules set down by the mayor. Back in January, the entire four-man department quit, claiming that politicians were interfering. The mayor denies there's a chronic problem in keeping police on the job in Montgomery, and he expects to have a new one-man department within a week or so.
Our meteorology department has more than one man in it, but
And a woman, too.
the chief man is with us right now. How about it, Tom?
Well, Nolan, thank you very much. Well, I tell you, folks, a lot of rain and clouds and some improvement coming as we head over into Saturday. Before we begin, I'd like to say hi to all the nice people I had the pleasure of being with today at the Minersville Nutrition Center in Schuylkill County. And over the past 24 hours, I've measured just over 2 inches of rain in the backyard. But over the past 2 months, we have measured a whopping 16.3 inches of rain here in the backyard. 8.5 inches of rain in the past 31 days. The all-time record for July is 11.7 inches. Okay, a hard shower reported at about 5 o'clock this afternoon in Jerseytown. Doreen McGillis has 72 at her place now. David Erb in McAllisterville would like you to know it's 82 in his backyard down in Juniata County. And Lucille Cush in Lakeville, Wayne County. It's a cool 66 at this hour. Now, in the backyard now, we have partly blue skies, 72 degrees. The humidity is 73%. The wind north at 4, the barometer at 29.9.
Had a range in temperature today of 74 and 62 here. 98, the record high back in 1917. An inch and a quarter of rain here in the backyard a year ago today. And our photographer Larry Lavelle found this field of sunflowers today in Packer Township, Carbon County. Up next, satellite view just in. Well, we had this slow-moving storm system up over New England. Parts of New York and Pennsylvania have been under a lot of clouds the past couple of days. But notice how it's clearing off into the west now as it moves very slowly off to the east. And so it's finally going to be leaving us overnight tonight. To the west, we have this line that'll be coming through here. It looks like tomorrow night. We were thinking it may hold off until Saturday to bring some rain, but I think it'll push on through by daybreak Saturday, and that'll be followed by some drier air heading into Saturday, so it's looking better as we see it now. 110 today in Little Rock, Arkansas. Heat blazing away in the Midwest again tomorrow. A clearing trend overnight tonight. No more than a passing shower over the next couple of hours, but improving later on. And in Callicoon, New York, hello up there, 62 your low tonight. 59 in Pocono Lake, about 62 in Minersville tomorrow morning, and Montgomery about 60, Towanda about 60. The breeze overnight tonight from the northwest, very light. A sunrise time tomorrow morning will be at 5:58 and 8:21 sunset tomorrow. Some patchy fog forming overnight, partly cloudy tomorrow. A shower anytime after 5 o'clock tomorrow evening, and then on Saturday it's looking real good. Sunshine, a few clouds overhead. Should be a dry day, 82 for the high. And then I think another system should bring some showers on Sunday. So we'll have another look at it tonight at 11.
All right, Tom. Thank you. See you. Now, the Auction Writer is next on the Sports Watch for Tim Carlson, and a local boy heads to Indianapolis for the National Roller Skating Finals.
Plus a profile of Giants quarterback Phil Simms.
Ellie? Steve? Here. Julie, want to go to the dance? Steve? Steve, let's borrow you. You will? You sure?
Whenever you need it, we'll be there.
Share the memories. Let Ray and Derek process your film and get 2 sets of prints for one low price. Then pick your favorite photo and get a big 5x7 print free. A set to keep, a set to share, and a 5x7 free from Ray and Derek Drugstores.
No 2-for-1 photo store.
You have arm problems when you're a baseball pitcher, and that is scary.
Right. I hope the Phillies must be thinking now that if Shane Raleigh has a rotator cuff problem, they want to stay away from that. Up and down year for the Phillies. One of the few bright spots has been 31-year-old Shane Raleigh. That's what makes last night's news even more disappointing. Raleigh is going to be out for at least 6 weeks and maybe the rest of the season with what is described as either a partially dislocated shoulder, a high rib fracture, or a rotator cuff tear. That's something we want to stay away from. Raleigh took himself out of Tuesday night's game at the Cardinals when he said he hurt a crick in his neck. He has a record of 11-7 with a 3.49 ERA, 7 complete games in 22 starts for the Phillies. John Felsky, manager of the Phillies, says it's part of the game and they have to live with it. Trouble of a different kind for another Major League pitcher. Last night in Chicago, Boston ace Roger Clemens did his imitation of Joaquin Andujar. Clemens argues with umpire Greg Koch after he called Harold Baines safe at first. Clemens disagrees. He's carried off the field by his teammates, and the replay showed that Roger Clemens may have had a point. Looks like his right foot touched the side of the bag. Boston lost, by the way, 7-2. Little League Baseball close to home. The area championship, just the final a few minutes ago. Jenkins Township beats Troop 1-0. So now Jenkins Township will move on to play either Hazleton or Harrisburg this Saturday at 5:30. We'll have highlights of their shutout today at 11 o'clock. Today we continue our look at the New York Giants training camp with part 2 of our 3-part series. A look at quarterback Phil Simms, the man at the helm.
Simms across the middle. That's an audible put in, especially for this game.
A good quarterback commands respect, but a good quarterback on a good team commands more respect. Giants quarterback Phil Simms is among those who commands the most respect.
At age 29, the 6'3", 215-pound veteran has established himself as one of pro football's best.
If the team's playing pretty well, I'll probably play pretty well. And if we're struggling a little as a team, then I'm probably going to have a tough time too, because that means people around me are not giving me as, making me have as many opportunities as I'd want. So a lot of it goes hand in hand. Usually a good quarterback plays for a good team.
He's a good quarterback. He can get it up in the air, if he held the time. Oh, yeah, he's great.
Phil Simms is now in his 8th year out of Morehead State, so he's only been a full-time starter for the past 2 years. In those 2 years, though, he's proved himself a very worthy starter for the New York Giants. In 1984, he passed for 4,000-plus yards, and last year, 3,900-plus.
Since I've been here, he's been our leader, and he's a guy we look up to on offense. If you look at our offense the last 2 years, it's really picked up. This isn't just a team that has a defense anymore. We've got a very capable offense, and he's the leader, and he's the guy we look to, and he's come through.
Coming in, having a starting job, makes me feel at ease, and when I have bad days, I don't get too upset over it.
If the Giants are going to have another good year, Simms has to lead the way, and nobody knows that better than the man in charge, Bill Parcells.
He certainly has demonstrated his ability as one of the top guys in the league, and I have every reason to think that he'll continue that way.
Continuing the things he's been doing will mean another Pro Bowl season for Phil Simms. And in Part 3 tomorrow, we'll look at the Giants' prospects for 1986. Finally, there's more success to report for a former WNEP-TV Sports Star of the Week winner. 7-year-old Jeff Kalina is off to the National Roller Skating Championships in Indianapolis. These shots were taken back when he was 4 years old in 1983. He was a star then, and he's still a champion today. But one of the most amazing things about Jeff Kalina when he was 4 years old is that he could go underneath people, something that he cannot do when he's 7 years old.
Good luck to him out there.
Yeah, good luck.
Those skates look bigger than he was back in
They were.
1983. Okay.
Thanks,
Ellie. Head him up and move him out. The wagon train is rolling through our area.
We'll go for a ride to see why nearly 100 people are traveling the country Conestoga style. Next, as Newswatch 16 continues.
At Meineke Discount Mufflers, we get some silky self-touch.
I'm not going to pay a lot for this muffler.
But we don't mind.
I'm not going to pay a lot for this muffler.
I'm not going to pay a lot for this muffler.
Meineke's the nation's discount muffler leader, so you're not going to pay a lot. Our quality Everlast mufflers are priced from $18.93 installed.
I'm not going to pay a lot for this muffler.
You're not going to pay a lot at Meineke.
I'm spending a day discovering the outer limits of Mazda's new RX-7 Turbo with one of Mazda's racers, Rod Miller.
Now, I don't recommend you run this Edicool Turbo up to 140 miles an hour.
Or go 0 to 60 in 6.7 seconds. Or take it up to its .86 cornering limit.
You really ought to go take a ride in one, but not with this guy.
Motor Trend Magazine's Import Car of the Year, Mazda RX-7.
Finally tonight, they call it Vision Quest, and it's an adventure with a serious purpose. Newswatch 16's Bob Costantini reports on an unusual way to help troubled teenagers.
What has 100 hooves, yards of canvas, and 60 teenagers trying to go straight? It's the Vision Quest wagon train, moving up the East Coast from Florida, passing from Schuylkill into Carbon County. Teens driving the wagons have all been in trouble with the law, but judges can sentence them to the Vision Quest program instead of juvenile centers.
Something that's challenging, something that's difficult, but also something that, is positive and something, that they can be successful at.
Luzerne County pays $100 a day to the Arizona-based Vision Quest company. That's because a Hazleton teenager who used to steal cars is on the wagon train.
That's a training program. I didn't care about nothing, not about my family, about, friends, cars. I didn't care if I stole cars or not, Now it's just different. I figure if I can work hard out here, I can do it at home.
The driver of the first wagon was a runaway from New Jersey.
Believe it or not, once you get a relationship with them, close friend, I'm going to miss my mule while I leave.
The wagons move on towards a camp near Weatherly.
The wagon train will spend the weekend in the Weatherly area before heading into Wilkes-Barre on Monday. And eventually, the train will go all the way up to Vermont. Bob Costantini, Newswatch 16, on the road to Weatherly, Carbon County.
Let's join them.
Yeah.
Really?
That's fun.
Yeah, sounds like it.
So that's Newswatch 16 for this Thursday.
Be sure to join us tonight on the update when we'll find out how the rain is putting a damper on some businesses in our area.
World News Tonight is next.
For the team, thank you for joining us.
Enjoy your evening.